robots for their control application. The mathematical equation used to model real physical and engineering system have become more and more complex. Okay, so once the application is more and more complex, the mathematical equations and the differential equation which represent the dynamics of that system is also will become complex. Okay, so that will make the application of different controllers for this specific application more and more tougher. Okay, so we need to move from the conventional kind of controllers to more and more sophisticated nonlinear control system for an accurate performance and accurate working of the robot, right? Now, this intention will lead to designing of controllers that provide the desirable performance to the closed loop robotic system, even in the presence of certain disturbance or uncertainty, which is considered to be a very challenging task for the control engineers, right? So we need to consider the disturbance, we need to consider the uncertainties or parameter changes, and accord even in the presence of this uncertainty or the parameter അല്ലെങ്കിൽ disturbance, your controller has to perform accurately അല്ലെങ്കിൽ otherwise robustly. So that is the main task of the control engineers to be performed in the area of robots, right? So regarding the any kind of robots, you might have studied all these kind of definitions in the previous classes. Okay, there are different norms, like different terms that are associated with any kind of robots. So this is one among that: workspace geometry of a robot. Okay, so the workspace means uh, is defined as the volume of space, the end effector. End effector you might
So,
heard
sir,
of. Yeah, yeah,
sir,
yeah, yeah,
can you make it full screen?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Full tell.
Yeah, yeah. One minute. Yeah. Now it's okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So the workspace is defined as the volume of space in your Cartesian coordinate or whatever the end effector can reach. That is what is called as the workspace. Yeah. So a reachable workspace is the volume of space within which every point can be reached by the end effector in at least one orientation. So these are some robots and their principles like Cartesian robot, cylindrical robot, spherical robot, SCARA robot, and articulated robot. And you can see how the kinematic chain represents corresponding to these robots and their workspace. Okay, you can see this can move around XY coordinate. So this is XYZ coordinate. So this is like a cylinder, then as spherical, cylindrical, spherical, like that. So this is what you call the workspace, right? And when you compare, there are a lot of other terms. I think that all the terms, as I mean, you might have gone through all these terms through the Sudeep sir's class from Sudeep sir from the NIT. Sudhir sir from the NIT might have covered all those basic aspects of the serial and parallel robot. Anyway, as a summary, if you compare a serial robot and parallel robot, you can see that in terms of workspace, serial robot, you can imagine serial robot is means you are connecting links through the different joints. Okay, so the you can interpret it from the physically. So as a serial robot can have a large workspace when compared to the parallel robot, right? Then accuracy, when you compare the accuracy, parallel robot is having a better accuracy. Then another thing is forward kinematics. So okay, so forward kinematic means I mean this is different for parallel and serial robot. We look into that. So I will specifically I will say the parallel kinematic of the parallel robot and inverse kinematic. So in respect to the forward kinematics, what we can see is parallel robot is having complex forward kinematics, whereas inverse kinematic is complex for the serial robot. Okay, I will look. I will tell you the in detail about that. Then error, you can see that serial robot the error will get accumulated from the joints to joints, whereas the parallel robot it averages out. And another thing is payload. You can that is also you can imagine. Payload means how much load the end effector can carry. So in that respect, you can see the joint because serial robot is having different joints. So once the weight is more means there is a chance that it can break down at different joints. Whereas the parallel robot can carry more payload because they are sharing the load among the different joints and different legs, you can say, like links. So that can carry a high load when compared to the serial robot. Okay. Yes, then speed and acceleration is also low for serial robot, which is having high. The stiffness in that respect also parallel robot is dominating, and the modeling and solving the dynamics relatively simple, but both are actually difficult bit. Then error also, force error also, you can see that parallel robot it accumulate, whereas for the serial robot it averages out. Then the inertia and application is depends upon the specific application. You can use different kinds of robot. We cannot generally, we can't say anything about that. So these are some different classes, like different examples of uh, parallel robot. We are specifically going into parallel robots. So these are certain images of parallel robots, and these are certain kind of parallel robot, different kinds of robots that we are seeing in day-to-day life. Okay. Yeah. So I will show you some video of a parallel robot, so you'll have a better insight into that area. So let me stop this one, and I will show you. I will show you one video. Yeah. Yeah. This is a video which actually shows the performance, like working of a parallel robot as well as a serial robot. I will show you one more video which actually called the ball balancing system. You can see. Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. Hello. Pravishek. Yeah. So we'll hello, കേൾക്കാമോ അല്ലേ? I'm audible.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So we'll continue. So the first video actually shows how a parallel robot works and the serial robot works. Okay. So you might have seen the difference between these two. Then another video what I have shown is a ball balancing problem. Okay. So the intention, the control problem was to keep the ball exactly at the center of the top platform using some controllers. So in that work, they have used a PID controllers, and you may have a reference position, and you may have a current position. So the error between the two positions, that two positions will be fed back to the controllers, and accordingly the controller will work such a way that the ball will be bring back to the initial, like the balance, the equilibrium position at the center of the top platform. So that has been carried out using a PID controller. So you have seen how fastly those controllers are working such a way that your ball is coming back to the equilibrium position within a fraction of second actually. Okay. So that much accurately you can use certain controllers for your tracking purpose. Yeah. Now from whatever we have seen, parallel and serial robot will be directly concentrating into a particular robot. I mean, the most celebrated kind of a parallel robot, which we call it as a Stewart platform. So this is the structure of a conventional Stewart platform. So you can see that there is a top platform with coordinate PIs, and there is a base platform with base coordinate BI. So this top and the base platforms are connected through six legs, and they have actuators in the legs. Okay. So as the actuators moves, the length of the legs will vary. Correspondingly, the position of the top platform will vary. So this is the system of interest in this discussion. Okay. So the definition is a parallel manipulator with two bodies connected together by extensible legs, which possess having high accuracy, fast operation, payload capacity, and high stiffness. And this kind of a robot is widely used in aircraft simulation, basically aircraft simulation. Then there are automobiles they are using, and games, then robotic surgery, then inverted kind of robots are parallel robots are there for lighting during some natural calamities, etc. There are a lot of application for this kind of a parallel robot, right? Yeah. Now now we need to see what are the controllers we require for this kind of a parallel robots. Okay. uh, Controllers can be equally applicable to parallel as well as the serial robot. Anyway, we'll focus certain controllers that are available and that can be applied for the control purpose of your Stewart platform in this case. Okay. So in real world applications, there are controllers. They must operate even in the presence of an untold number of nominal conditions that either were not or could not be accounted for during formal synthesis. Sometimes then engineers compensate for this real world effect by extensive simulation and testing. Okay. So after extensive simulation studies, then only we can apply this into a real-time system. So there is a chance of different kinds of disturbance that may act into the system, and you can that may pull out the performance of your system in the bad way. So you need to design certain controllers that can even perform well in the presence of this kind of disturbances. Okay. So this is a tabulation of different existing controllers that has been applied for a second order integrated kind of system, which will be in the form of x1 dot equal to x2 and x2 dot is equal to some u plus d form. So that has been seen from this kind of a paper, Naive control for the double integrator, which has been done by these authors and which is published in IEEE Control System magazine. So what you can observe is they have applied different classes of conventional controllers. Okay, even PD, then linear quadratic regulator problem, minimum energy problem, different optimization algorithms, discontinuous sliding mode, continuous sliding mode control, and they have compared most of the controllers, and they have analyzed what are the different parameters and what are the measurement required. Sometimes you may need to measure the both quantities q1 and q2. Sometimes we need only q1, like that. Okay, if the one quantity is not measurable, you can use certain observer, like certain estimator to estimate that state, and you can make use of these controllers. And they have settling time, accuracy, different parameters they have analyzed, and what is the energy requirements, etc. So all these controllers have their own advantages and disadvantages. So the existing normal existing controllers, what we have learned is PID controllers. Then there are certain compensators are there. And then there are model predictive controllers are there. Then conventional sliding mode controllers are there. Then continuous controllers are there. Different controllers are there. And those who are interested to see this kind of controllers and their performance, they can refer this paper, which is available in online, right? Okay, so this is just a comparison. We are not going to deep of depth of that. So here, what I am going to discuss with you people is the application of a particular kind of variable structure control. I think most of you people might have heard about this kind of a class of a controller, which is called the variable structure control, or we call it as a sliding mode control. So the intention of this discussion is that the evolution, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ the development of different sliding mode control strategies for the position control of a parallel robot. So this controller is equally applicable in different kinds of system that you might have been coming across. Your power system application you can use. You can use this in the semiconductor or a power electronic circuit. You can use this kind of controllers in biomedical application. So the application can be extended to any systems. But in this discussion, I am focusing the development and application of this kind of a particular control system in the control application of a parallel robot, that is Stewart platform, right? So sliding mode control is a particular type of variable structure control. Variable structure control means you are actually changing the structure of your system by properly choosing certain gains and switching at different instance, which actually evolved from the pioneering work in Russia by a famous scientist called Emelianov and Babashin in the early 1960s. But this idea having come out of the Russia due to it is written in some Russian language. But after a long period, around 10 or 15 years after only, the idea of sliding mode control is coming into the research community later by the book of Itkis and survey paper of Utkin, which is available in literature. Utkin survey paper is considered as the one of the most the primitive, like the earliest work in the area of sliding mode control. Those who are interested, you can refer to that paper to get an idea about the sliding mode control. Okay. Now, the rigorous studies on relay systems are found in contribution in the 1960s, which were presented in the celebrated work of Filipov's achievements for solving the differential equation with discontinuous right-hand sides. The study of relay system simulated the study of sliding mode control. So there may be equations with discontinuous right-hand side. So the solving of that differential equation, etc., have a lot of mathematical complexity in it. Anyway, later in the they started to focus on the development of second order sliding mode control system, and they succeeded to develop a second order sliding mode control for mini systems, and they found that the controller is working properly. But the only problem is that the desired robustness is also achieved, but there is a problem of what you call the discontinuous controls, which actually lead to a problem called the chattering, which is the major drawback of this kind of a sliding mode control, because you are using a discontinuous control function called the signum function. So that lead to some other drawbacks. Then most of the researchers have started to work on some idea how to reduce the chattering, and they found some methods. Okay, yeah. Now, before going into the in depth of sliding mode control and the control application, these are some basic definitions. state space. State space is nothing but an n-dimensional space whose coordinate axes are consisting of x1 axis and x2 axis, maybe xn axis. Then state trajectory is nothing but the variation of x of t state versus the time in the state space. Then state variables are the minimum number of variable required to represent the summarize the system, to represent the dynamics of the system. And the disturbance actually a completely or partially unknown system input which cannot be manipulated by the system designer, right? Now moving into the definitions associated with the sliding mode controller, you can see variable structure control. It's a class of system whereby control law is deliberately changed during the control process according to some predefined rules which depends on the state of the system. So variable structure means if you have a system which is having the state space representation of the form x dot is equal to ax plus bu form, and you may have a different number of states variables, then is it possible to change the control process at some predefined points? Then you will be able to achieve the so-called the promised disturbance rejection. So for that, what you need is you need to design a sliding predefined sliding surface using the linear combination of the state variables, and you may have a reaching law. According to that reaching law, you will be equating the surface as derivative of the surface equal to 0, and you will be finding an equivalent control. That control will drive the state from any point of the state space to the predefined sliding surface. So once the state trajectory reaches to the sliding surface, it will be robust with respect to the disturbance in that system. That is the idea. So there are two phases. One is called the sliding mode phase. The behavior of a dynamical system while confined to the sliding surface will be governed by that phase. Then reaching phase is the phase, the initial phase of the closed loop behavior of the state variable as they are being driven towards the surface. Initially, your state will be at certain point of the, I think at certain point in the state space. So from that point, you need to drive the states to the predefined surface. So that point, that phase is called the reaching phase. Yeah. So the major steps involved in the design of this kind of a controller is that you need to design a switching surface. Then you need to find out the control, equivalent control that can drive the states to that surface. And once the states are reaching that surface, it will be governed by the dynamics of the surface, and your system will be no more subjected to, no more susceptible to any kind of disturbances. Okay, so this is the basic idea. And the advantage is that you can achieve the robustness, and there will be model order will be reduced, and the disturbance rejections and simplicity. So the application of the sliding mode control is very large areas of electrical or mechanical system like power electronics, electric vehicle control application, then electromechanical and biomedical power systems, etc. Okay, so now we're moving into the dynamics of the Stewart platform, the parallel robot that we have considered. So the basic definition of the inverse kinematic associated with the parallel robot is like this. You can see that for a given position and orientation of the platform, the leg length can be uniquely determined. So what it's mean is, if you know the top position of the platform that is given, that is pi, the 6 coordinate of the top platform is given, that is what you call the pi, and the base coordinate you know, and this is the position of the center of the platform, and r is called the rotational matrix. So if you know all these parameters, you can find out the leg length of the Stewart platform. So that is called the inverse kinematics. You got the point? If you know the top position and orientation of the platform, you can uniquely determine the leg length. So that is called the inverse kinematic problem. So that is very simple and that is unique. Whereas the forward kinematic problem is difficult. So the forward kinematic problem is that if you know the leg length, if you know the 6 leg length, how can you able to find out the top position of the platform? So that is not unique. from this equation itself, you solve this equation, you can have a multiple solution. That is the main problem associated with the Stewart platform. Your forward kinematic is not unique. You solving the equation may results in multiple solutions, and you won't get a unique equation. You can't get a unique control strategy using the forward kinematic. So this is considered as the most complexity of a forward kinematics. So this is reverse in the case of a serial robot. Serial robot forward inverse kinematic is difficult, but forward kinematics is okay. Okay, that is not that much problem. So solution of forward kinematic equation of the Stewart platform is a challenging task. Okay, so we look into in detail of that. Then you can represent the coordinate either in joint space and task space. Joint space is nothing but the dynamic equations and control can be expressed as the function of the leg length. You may know the leg length, you may know the derivative, like velocity, like acceleration, everything you can determine. So if the dynamics of the whole system, if you represent using this variable, we call it as a joint space. Then task space means the dynamic equation and control can be expressed as a function of position, velocity, and acceleration of the x, that is this top platform position and orientation. Because you may have this platform is having a 6 degree of freedom. Okay, 6 degree of freedom means you can have x, y, z, and the orientation among the these three coordinates, that is alpha, beta, gamma. So you can achieve a 6 degree of freedom using this kind of a parallel robot. So what I'm saying is forward kinematic is complex, whereas inverse kinematic is okay. And you can design the controller for this kind of a parallel robot in joint space comparatively easily using a independent equations. Okay, we are not considered as a dependent equation. Instead, you can decouple the system and you can design 6 controllers parallelly and you can control your platform. So that is the simplicity of designing the controller in joint space. But task space, you need this variable. So this is considered as a different problem. Okay. Now, the dynamic equation governing the platform can be formulated using the kinetic energy, potential energy equation, and using you have a Lagrangian formulation of modeling the any complex system in this form: A, B, C matrix and Qi. These are the general coordinate in terms of leg length. And the dynamic equation can task space you can represent using the in terms of the position, acceleration, velocities, etc. like this. So these are general torque equation. J is called the Jacobian matrix, and you can convert this into joint space even using this equation. X dot as a J inverse Q dot. Q is the leg length and X is the position. So you can convert the equation in the task space into joint space using this equation, and you can formulate the space equation certain by certain assumptions. X dot is equal to f of x of t plus gu of plus d of t, and y is cx of t, right? So your f of x is defined as this and g of x is defined in this form, and d is considered as a disturbance, and y is considered as the output of the equation system, and your output is nothing but the leg length. Okay, now how can you define, how can you design the controller for this kind of a complex system? So you might have seen the dimension of this equation. So how can you consider or how can you design the controllers for the Stewart platform using the sliding mode controllers? Yeah. So this is what we have already discussed. The advantages and drawbacks we have already discussed. So in order to overcome the drawbacks of the conventional sliding mode controller, we are looking for higher order sliding mode controller which can remove all the drawbacks of a conventional sliding mode controller. Okay. So among the higher order sliding mode controller, the first kind of controller we call it as a twisting algorithm or twisting controller. We call it as a twisting algorithm or twisting controller. So what this controller represent, how the controller defined is, suppose you have a system of this form: x double dot t is equal to a as a function of t and x, and b is a function of t and x, and u is your control. if this is your system of this form and the bounds, the upper limits of A and B is defined or it is known, then it is possible to design this control U as in this form. U is nothing but minus R1 signum of X and R2 signum of X dot. And you may be knowing the two variable, you need to know the variable X and X dot. And if you know these two states X and X dot, and you will be able to design this kind of a controller, we satisfy the condition R1 and R2 are greater than 0, and you can exactly find out the values of R1 and R2 using these bounds of A and B using this equation. And if you design this kind of a controller for this kind of a system, you will able to bring the states x1 and x2 to equilibrium in finite time. So this is what we call a twisting controller. And the drawback here also, what you can see is this signum function is there, there is another signum function is there. Your total control is a function of two signum function. So signum is nothing but this will be positive when x is positive, plus 1, and it will be negative when it is x is negative. So this will oscillate between plus and minus 1. So that will corresponding to discontinuous control action. So this controller can ensure a finite time stability to the system using this kind of a controller. Now this kind of a controller can be applied for any system, and in this discussion we will be discussing how this controller can be applied to a parallel robot for achieving a desired tracking accuracy. And another algorithm similar to the twisting algorithm, there is another algorithm called the super twisting algorithm. And here what you can see, this is x dot, this is not x double dot, nothing but x dot is equal to A plus BU. This is a first order system. And similarly, if you know the bounds of A and B, you will able to design a controller of the form U is equal to minus lambda absolute value of x raised to half signum of x and integral of alpha signum of x beta. So here you can see two parameter lambda and alpha is there, and if you properly choose the values of lambda and alpha, you can ensure the finite time control of this system using this controller. And what another thing that you can observe is this is continuous and this is continuous, so you can ensure the finite time stability of the system using this kind of a controller. So this is called the twisting controller. And another thing is these are continuous, this is continuous. So compared to the earlier control, this control will be a continuous controller and there will not be any more chattering, and you can achieve a finite time stability for your system using these two kind of controllers. So now another advantage of this algorithm is that this algorithm can further used as a observer. Sometimes you may be knowing one variable and another states will not be available or measurable. So in that case, you can use certain observer to estimate the unmeasurable state. So in that respect also, you can use a super twisting algorithm. You can see if your system is defined as x1 dot is equal to x2 and x dot to x2 dot is in this form, and y is only available state is x1, and you may need to estimate the x2. So you can design an observer x1 hat dot and x2 hat dot like this, where z1 and z2 are certain injection factor. This is governed by the super twisting algorithm. And if you find the error dynamics, you can see that e1 dot and e2 dot, it will converges in 0 in finite time by properly choosing alpha and lambda. So in that case, this will your error will approaches to 0 means your x1 hat will approaches to x1 and x2 hat will approaches to x2. So that means you can estimate the unmeasurable state using this kind of a observer. So super twisting algorithm can be used as a controller as well as an observer. So the estimated states can be used to design the controller in for further actions. Okay. So this is the two algorithm that we have discussed. Now we'll move to the application of these controllers, twisting and super twisting controller for the position control of your steward platform. So you can see the aim is to design a twisting controller in joint space. So joint space, we are assuming it has 6 independent system. For each system, the following desired trajectory, there will be a desired trajectory is assigned for your top platform. top platform has to follow a particular position. A particular position is assumed or trajectory assumed. So our aim is to design a controller in joint space. Joint space means your controller will be in terms of the leg length and leg velocities. So this is your representation of a single system, that is q1 dot is equal to q7 and q7 dot is this in this form. So in that case you can define the error as desired like actual leg length minus desired and its error. So if you know these error functions, you can convert that into error dynamics. So here you can design a UT in terms of error dynamics like this: R1 signum of E1, R2 signum of E1 dot, and your E1 is available, E1 dot is available. Then you can design a controller for your leg dynamic of your steward platform to follow a particular trajectory. So what you can observe is there that has been simulated using a conventional steward platform with the dimension, the parameters given, and a desired trajectory is given. Now what you can see is the leg length error is coming to 0 even in the presence of disturbance and without disturbance. I have added some disturbance in the input channel, which we call it as the matched disturbance. And what I observe is for different leg length, leg 1, leg 2, etc. So for the each leg length, you can see that the error will coming into 0 in finite time. So the error is coming to 0 in finite time means the control the position, the platform is achieving, the platform is stabilizing at the stable position. Okay, so this is what is called the control. So what you can observe here is that your control is having a what do you call this discontinuity, or you call it as the chattering. So this will actually damage the actuators. So this is considered as a drawback to the this kind of a controller. So you need to go for some other controller which can avoid this kind of a chattering in the control. So that is why we go for a another kind of controller. It's not actually the, okay, called the smooth integral or a smooth sliding mode controller, which we call. So even though controller is succeeded to bring the platform to the desired trajectory quickly, even with a smooth control input without disturbance rejection. Okay, so now to overcome the drawback of a modified controller, a chattering free integral sliding mode controller is proposed for the platform in this work. So here also the system is defined in this form: x1 dot is equal to x2 and x2 dot is in this form, where d is called the disturbance. Then the control, here what we can do is you can design a controller u as a sum of a nominal controller and a modified controller. Okay, so here what I am telling is I have an integral sliding mode controller. So integral sliding mode controller is having a characteristics like any kind of an integral controller will lack a sliding phase. That means your system will achieve the desired robustness at t equal to 0 onwards. So a reaching phase is completely avoided. Only sliding phase will be there with the integral sliding mode controller. So that property is exploiting for this kind of a controller. So you may have a nominal controller and a discontinuous controller. So the function of this nominal controller is to stabilize the system in the absence of disturbance, whereas this controller will have a function to reject the disturbance. So together these two controller will perform such a way that you will achieve the desired trajectory even in the presence of disturbance. So here the nominal controller is defined in this form: E1 and E2 is nothing but the errors, and your discontinuous control is nothing but a modified form of a twisting controller. This is what we have already discussed, which we call as a twisting controller. So the modified part of this one is considered as a discontinuous controller. So this together, these two controller is there, and the surface is defined in this form. So you have a surface dynamics. So what you can observe is you can estimate the disturbance as well using this kind of a controller. So this is some gain condition that I am not mentioning. So this kind of a controller, if I apply it for the platform, this is the result that we are getting. Now you can see integral blue one is actually an integral sliding mode controller with load. Red one is actually an integral sliding mode controller with load and disturbance. Okay. So the last one is without the nominal control. I don't have a discontinuous control, only nominal control is applied. So what you can observe here is your platform is able to decide to reach the desired trajectory using an integral sliding mode controller, even in the presence of a very high payload on the top platform and in the presence of an with the applied disturbance. So that which I demonstrate that actually uh, shows the superior performance of this kind of a controller. So this proposed controller is able to achieve the desired tracking accuracy as well as robustness. Okay, so this is you can see the control. Your controller is continuous in nature. No chattering is there when compared to that of a twisting controller. And this is how the disturbance is actually estimated using the controller. And this is how the surface is varying. Idea is surface has to reach made zero within a small time. So everything, the desired performance is achieved. Disturbance can be able to estimate. The controller is free from chattering. So your controller, the proposed smooth integral sliding mode controller is successful in bringing the top platform to the desired state even in the presence of a load and disturbance. Okay. Yeah. Now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now we have discussed the application of twisting controller and a modified form of twisting controller as a part of integral sliding mode controller for the desired stabilization of the platform. Now similarly, exactly you can use a super twisting algorithm also for the stabilization or for the position control of a steward platform. So here also what you can observe is we have an error in terms of leg length desired and the actual, and the error dot is also available. So using these two variable, I am constructing a sliding surface e1 dot and e1. We are constructing a sliding surface, and what you can see is you can design a super twisting controller of this form. That is what we have already discussed. So if you know this surface and you know the control structure, you can apply this kind of a controller to the Steward platform model that we have already seen. So in that case, if you properly choose the values of alpha and beta, and you can what you can see your sigma can brought to zero in finite time, provided your surface is coming to zero in finite time, not the error. The error will converge to zero only in a asymptotically, not in finite time. So this is the controller performance. Here you can see the red one is actually called the super twisting controller. Here also what you can observe is the error is coming to zero in finite time. Then the red one is the blue one is actually a variable gain super twisting controller that is I am not mentioning here. Anyway, application of this controller can bring the leg length errors to zero in finite time. If the leg length error is coming to zero in finite time means the desired position can be achieved within a in a finite time. Yeah. So the surface variations control and control, you can see the control is continuous compared to the other controllers. Your controller is uh, continuous, so stuttering is completely avoided. So these are some application of sliding mode based controller for the position control of steward അല്ലെങ്കിൽ a parallel robot. Okay. I am mentioning the development of controllers and its application for the parallel robot. So these controllers can be equally applied to any system of your interest, of your research area. This controller will equally perform well for your systems like your biomedical system or a load flow studies or a load frequency control or your converter or buck converter, boost converter or whatever, CP converter. All the power electronics and electrical, electronics, mechanical, every system, you can substitute your conventional PID controllers with this kind of advanced controllers. What the advantage that you are getting is you are getting the robustness. PID controller can't ensure you can't guarantee the robustness, but these sliding mode controllers will guarantee you the robustness as well as desired performance. So everyone, you can refer to any of the papers of this kind of sliding mode controller, and you can think about applying these controllers in your particular systems or your application for your research purpose. Okay, fine. So this is another class of controller which we have developed. Okay, so which actually defined as a uniform continuous higher order sliding mode control. So the terms uniform is there, continuous is there. So uniform means irrespective of the initial condition, your state trajectories will come to equilibrium in a finite or a uniform time. Whatever be the initial condition, your states will reach the equilibrium in a predefined upper bound time. Yeah, so that is one thing. And the continuous mean with a continuous control, no chattering is there, a continuous control, uniformity is there, and the finite time, what you call the robustness is there. So everything we are clubbing, so we are actually developing certain control according to some predefined rules to achieve the better performance when compared to the existing algorithms. So in that way, we are succeeded to perform well using this kind of a controller. Yeah. Now we're looking to the development of this controller to overcome the drawback of a conventional controller. A new class of uniform, continuous, higher order sliding mode controller is developed to achieve finite time stability irrespective of the initial condition. So that is the point. Whatever be the initial condition, you will be able to bring the controller will be able to bring the state to equilibrium within a predefined time. So this algorithm I have developed and I have validated and I have applied for certain system. The performance is evaluated and it is found that your controller is working properly. Then I have applied this system, this control to our system of interest, that is called the Steward platform. Now like look into the development of this kind of a controller. Sorry. Yeah. So consider a system, a first order system of the form z1 dot is equal to some u plus d, where z is defined as in the real space. So state variable d is also real, is the matched non-vanishing disturbance. Then u is defined as minus k1 into phi. Phi is actually a function of z1, and v is nothing but integral of k2 phi 2 of z. So phi 1 and phi 2 I have defined as a function of z1 and z2. Now let us look into phi 1 and phi 2. So this is how phi 1 and phi 2 is defined. So phi 1 and phi 2 are nothing but functions of z1 and z2. And you can see there are terms like mu1, mu2 and mu1, mu2. Okay. So our idea, we need to find out what is mu1 and mu2 in terms of certain bounds. Now you substituting this control into the system to the first equation. This system we are substituting. You will get an equation like this, and defining some other arrangement we are doing. Z2 is v plus d and z2 dot is nothing but v dot plus d. So you can define the equation now into this form, z1 dot and z2 dot of this form. Clear? Then the upper bound of disturbance is given as lambda, I mean this delta. So this is actually called as a uniform super testing algorithm. So what it defined is defined by the Friedman in this paper. This paper is like this: if Z1 and Z2 is reaches 0, which is globally uniformly stable if all the trajectories in the vector space, real vector space 2, dimension 2 converges to a neighborhood of Z equal to 0 in finite time, and the convergence time is uniformly bounded irrespective of the initial condition. Okay, so this is the definition. Now the convergence of the system will be uniform within a finite time, which means that all the trajectory converges to 0 in finite time smaller than a upper bound. Yeah, so that is defined. You have a k1, k2 in terms of delta is defined, and mu1 and mu2 is defined, which is greater than 0. Then any trajectory starting in this dimension converges to origin in finite time, and that reaches the equilibrium point at most after a time like this. At most after a time, and the conversion time is uniformly bounded by this value T max. You can derive all those things, which implies any trajectory converges to zero in a time smaller than T max. Any trajectory, whatever be the initial condition, you can use this kind of a controller to bring the state to equilibrium within a time less than T max. So this is what the controller is actually defined as. And also your D is nothing but minus of B. So that means your disturbance can also be estimated using this kind of an algorithm. Now further, I have extended that into a nth order system. X1 dot is equal to x2, x2 dot is equal to x3, like xn dot is equal to f of x, g of x, u plus in this form, where D is actually a matched disturbance. If it is extended like this, what you can see is you can use a feedback linearization can be employed, and you can use a u0 like this. That is what you call the Budbein-Stein algorithm, and you need to properly choose the values of what you call the alphas. Okay, anyway, we need to choose that terms, and what you call the discontinuous control is there. I mean super twisting controller is there, that is also defined, and your phi1 and phi2 is defined, and your xn is defined. If xn you know, and u0 we know. So if you define such a controller knowing phi1 phi2 sigma ud, if you all know all those things, you can define ud. So if you know ud and u0, your total controller is nothing but the sum of u0 plus ud. So if you design u0 and ud, you can apply that into any system to have a uniform convergence, right? So that is the definition of that kind of a control. So what you can see is you have a we need to validate the result whatever we have formulated. Okay, mathematically we have proven. Now we need to validate that result using certain simulation. So I have considered a robotics, what you call the robotic manipulator. This is serial robot actually. So if the equations are given, dynamic equation is given, then I have feedback linearization is employed, and I have brought the system into this form, and u is defined. This is s1 and s2. If you know the s1 and s2, you can u0 is defined like this, and sigma is defined, and ud is defined. So if you know the ud and u0, it can apply to your system. And what now you can observe the beauty of this kind of a controller. But you can see the initial conditions. X10 is given a different initial condition. Irrespective of the initial condition within the state space, you can see all the trajectories are coming into equilibrium within a small time, irrespective of the initial condition. So this is for x1 and this is for x2. So what you can see, whatever be the initial condition, your states are coming into zero in finite time. And the tracking response, the x1 is the actual response, x3 is the desired. You can see your states are coming, I mean the actual and the desired states are overlapping. So your tracking area is coming into zero within a small time. So that actually describe the potential of the controller. So this is how the actual and the estimated disturbance, and this is the control input. You can see the control input is purely a continuous control. Okay, so you have a desired performance with a continuous controller. Now same formula, same principle, and the same control I have extended to the system of our interest, that is the parallel robot. This is error dynamics. Similarly, I have defined the S1 and S2. Then U0 is defined using S1 and S2, and sigma is defined. UD we know. So if you know UD and U0, I have applied that into this system. So what you can see, the error here also you can, this is 10 raised to minus 5. So you can see the error is coming into zero within a small time. Okay. So that is the potential of this kind of a controller. What will be the initial position for the your platform is able to bring the into the desired position within a small time. So which actually the potential of a controller. So what we have so far discussed is different kinds of controller for the position stabilization of a steward platform. Okay, the position control of your position stabilization of the parallel robot using different classes of sliding mode controllers. Okay, so I think it's you got a some idea about application of controllers for the control of parallel robots. Okay, now we'll look into the another problem that we have discussed in the initial portion of the discussion, that is called the forward kinematic solution of a parallel robot. Okay, so initially we have already discussed this is considered as a tough problem in the case of a steward platform. Yeah, any doubts? Okay, so we'll discuss the we'll discuss the doubts at the end. Now we'll look into the another important problem. So far the controllers we have discussed is using the in joint space coordinates, that is using the leg length. Now we'll moving into the designing അല്ലെങ്കിൽ addressing the forward kinematic problem of a steward platform. So what do you mean by forward kinematic problem of the steward platform? If you know the leg length, is it possible to determine the top position? So you might have seen that video. For a given combination of the leg length, you can have a multiple top position that is possible. So that is why we are telling that the forward kinematic problem of a steward platform is not at all unique, and you may have a multiple solution. So how to tackle this problem? How to find the forward kinematic solution of the steward platform? That is the important problem. So for that, for that, we have suggested a particular kind of an observer. Okay, the problem with the observer is that why we need certain observer when we use certain observer, we will use observer or estimator like Kalman filters when some of the states are not measurable, some states variables are not measurable, or if it is not available, you can estimate the states. So that is the issue. Output is there, so using that output you can estimate the states, so that is possible. Okay, but the problem with the steward platform is that output is leg length. Okay, output you know that is leg length, but leg length you need to estimate the states from the leg length. That is the problem. Leg length is a function of the position. So that is what we have discussed in that equation. Leg length is a function of the top position of the platform. So how will you able to estimate those top position coordinate from the available leg length? That is the issue in with our case. Okay. So there are different approaches are there. We call the neural network, support vector machine, observer, wavelets, etc. So I have formulated some other method using what we call the nonlinear ARX method for the forward kinematic solution of a steward platform. But all these method having a main drawback that it is very sensitive to the initial condition. Once the initial condition is varied, the tuning of algorithm will be different for different initial conditions. That is make it complicated. Like, so the limitations are the limitation in estimating the states from the available lengths are sensor. We can't employ the sensor because sensor is easily susceptible to the vulnerable to noises, cost, etc. Then parameter variation. Then observer used for the forward kinematic guarantees only asymptotic convergence and there is no robustness. That is why we are going for a specific algorithm that I have developed to estimate the top position of the platform uniquely from the available leg length. So that is the work. Yeah. Now, dynamic modeling of steward platform. Again, we are revisiting. This is mass matrix, inertial and gravitational matrix. J is called the Jacobian. So Q is not leg length. Here it is top position and top orientation. അതായത് നമ്മുടെ ടോപ്പ് പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിന്റെ പൊസിഷൻ XYZ കോർഡിനേറ്റും then the orientation of the top platform with respect to different position, that is called the alpha, beta, gamma. So the measuring the position and orientation is not easy with this kind of sensors. That is why we are going for a observers to estimate the position from the available leg length. Now there are certain assumptions. Your mass matrix can vary in this form, and this inertia gravitational matrix can also be vary. Some parameter variation you are considering, and M is a symmetric and positive definite matrix and satisfying these conditions. Yeah. Now we are defining the dynamics of a platform in state space in this form. X1 dot is equal to X2, X2 dot is in this form, D is disturbance, and output is nothing but leg length. This is actually leg length as a function of states. ഇതെന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു X1 എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് RX, RY, RZ, alpha, beta, gamma. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്കത് അവൈലബിൾ അല്ല. So you need to estimate the states from this available output. So that is our intention. So where h of x1 is defined as this one, and this is nothing but the leg length, and we are having certain assumption. Always this will be a positive value. Leg length cannot be 0 or negative. So this is other assumption. Yeah. Now see the topology, or see the configuration of the controller and observer that I am using. So this is our platform. This is the mechanism, or this is the model of your system. You can see the output is y. Y is nothing but the leg length as a function of the states. Okay, and you have an input, that is u, and you have a certain matched disturbance. This is coming through the input channel. Yeah, now you need to design an observer. We call it as the super twisting observer, which is having an input u and a state, the error between the two variables. This is output and this is the estimated output. That error is coming into this controller. So what we can guarantee is this observer will able to estimate the actual position of your platform, that is x, that is rx, ry, rz, alpha, beta, gamma. You are able to estimate the states, and you have a desired trajectory, and you have an estimated state. And using these two, you can design a controller such a way that your platform will track the desired trajectory. So you have an observer and you have a controller. The controller can be anything. You can use a PID controller, model predictive controller, super twisting controller, anything. Once you have a desired and actual state, you can use any controller. But the problem, like the beauty is here that you have a output which is only the function of the state. So using that available output, you are estimating the actual state. That is the beauty of this algorithm. So you are able to estimate the state even in the presence of this disturbance, and the state, the x hat will converge to x in a finite time, not asymptotically. So in that way, you are able to succeed. You are able to achieve the desired robustness and desired rate of convergence for the estimated error. You are successful in controlling the position of the platform, or to track the desired platform in a finite time. So that is the beauty of this kind of a algorithm that we have mathematically that we have proven. Yeah, these are certain notation that we have followed. This notation is actually indicate magnitude, like absolute value of v raised to alpha into signum of p, and this actually indicates this is a vector transpose. So, and another one, this is the notation that actually indicates signum of p. Okay, these are some notation for the representation only. So the observer will be, super testing observer will be of this form. X1 hat and X2 hat will be in this form. This is the Z1 and Z2 are two injection factors, which is defined as this. Z1 and Z2 is this form. This is the leg length errors actually, and W is, your W is defined as a partial derivative of leg length with respect to X1. Yeah, so you need to substitute W and Z. So if you know the W, you can substitute Z1 and Z2. So this is the error. This is the observer dynamics. And now I'm not going to this theory part. So what you can define is error variable. Error is actual minus estimate, and you can have an x1 and x2 hats, and h is defined this form, and take the derivative of x1 hat and x2 hat. This will be the error dynamics. And what you can observe is here terms are there, k1 and k2 is here, and phi is, you are rearranging now, phi is defined in this form, and you have transformation, another coordinate transformation is used, where this is actual and the estimated leg length. D2 is like this, and the system dynamics can be brought into this form. E1 dot is equal to this one, and E2 dot is equal to this form. So now solving this differential equation, I'm not going to detail about that. Our intention is bring the error and E1 and E2 to 0 in finite time. So for that, what should be the values of K1 and K2 that has to be chosen in terms of this parameter value, this bond, if you know this, whatever this representation, if the bond of this one is no, what will be the values of a K1 and K2? So that can be solved. Differential equations can be solved, and you can find the values of K1 and K2 like this. So that is K1 should be greater than this value and K2 should be greater than this. So once you know the K2, you can find the value of K1. So what you can use is, if you use this kind of a K1 and K2, and if you know the bounds, these two, you can able to estimate the, if you use the values of K1 and K2, then you'll be able to estimate exact successfully. So that is the beauty of this algorithm. Yeah, so this is how you can estimate K1 and K2, which can assure x equal to exact in finite time. So that is the proof, mathematical validation and mathematical findings that we have done. Now similarly, I am using this kind of an algorithm for designing a controller. Using that estimates, I have designed a controller using the twisting algorithm, and where the A1 and A2 can be found. And now I am not going to detail. I have designed an observer, and I have designed a controller, and I have a desired trajectory. Now you can see, according to the desired, your blue one actually the desired trajectory for the RX എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ് x position. So blue one is the desired trajectory, and green one is the actual, and red one is the estimated. So whatever be the initial condition, you can see that within a small time, your actual, estimated, and the desired trajectory are getting overlapped. So that means your controller and your observer are very working properly to have the desired, to achieve the desired trajectory within a small time. So that means our controller and observer is working exactly in with respect to the desired goal. Okay. So here you can see whatever Rx, Ry, Rz, every trajectories are overlapping within a very small time, and the desired alpha, beta, gamma I have given as 0. So that doesn't indicate anything. And the thing is, initial condition, even you use different initial conditions, your states are coming to the equilibrium position within a small time. So that actually it actually indicates the potentiality of controller and the observers, right? So this is the conclusion. So the parallel robots you might have already seen. Anyway, I have just given an introduction to the parallel robots, and why we need controllers for the controlling of parallel robots, and the modeling and simulation of the Stewart platform, and the different application and development and application of sliding mode controller and observer for the Stewart platform has been explained within the limited time. Okay, and these are the some publication based on the work that I have done during my PhD period. So these are certain publication. So this one, the last one, that is the observer and controller development for the forward kinematic solution of the Stewart platform has been published in the IEEE transaction on industrial electronics. So this is considered as the most satisfactory work for me as well during my PhD work. And these are also, this is one ASME and one is ISA transaction, and this is some conference proceedings. Okay, so that's it from me for this short period of time. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me. So whatever things that I know, little knowledge that I have in this area, that I try to convey in my level best within this short period of time. So my suggestion is that these are different sliding mode based algorithms which are available in the different publications, and you can also try to apply these algorithms in different control problems that you are giving it to your PhD and otherwise MTech or BTech students and try to validate the potentiality of these controllers for specific application of your interest. I think this will work for your systems also. Okay, so this much can I share you within this time. So once again, thank you so much for listening me for a small this duration of time. So that's it. Thank you so much, all the listeners. Nice to meet you all in this kind of a platform, and I thank the coordinators of FDP for giving me an opportunity to share my little knowledge in this short period of time. Thank you so much. Over
Thank
to
you,
you,
sir.
Pravesh. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. There is one question from Mr. Nikunj. Can we go for sliding mode controller for 4-leg plus 4-wheel hybrid robot?
Yeah, nice question. And thank you so much for asking the question. Yeah, sliding mode control is applicable to any kind of system. If it is applicable to a 6 degree of freedom system or a high degree of system, general same thing can be extended to any kind of system. And you need to have a proper model of the system, and the bounds of the system should be appropriately known. If you know the bounds of the systems and the disturbance bounds is also known, you can extend the sliding mode applications to any of your system of interest. Yeah, any Pravish?
Participants can unmute yourself and ask any questions. If you can type the questions also in the chat box. I think there are no more questions. If there are no more questions, we can conclude this session. Before concluding, let me thank Dr. Ramesh Kumar P for such an informative session on control aspects of the parallel robot. Thanking you for accepting our invitation and delivering the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for giving an opportunity to share my knowledge also. Thank you so much.
Thus, we have come to the conclusion of our technical sessions of our FDP. Now, we will have a valedictory session at 2 p.m. followed by a quiz. Participants are requested to give your valuable feedbacks during the valedictory sessions. Thank you. The link for entering attendance will be provided in the chat box.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, can I leave, Pravish then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pravish.